February 17th, I believe, on a Friday evening, 2023. I'm standing in the frame of my Acadia door, and my neighbor's dog is barking. And with the glass door open, this is probably about the volume that I get. We'll see if they keep barking. Now, this barking goes on for hours, and a lot of times it's unprovoked, where we're not talking about people walking by or cars pulling up. I will pause until they start barking. And to be fair, sometimes they do go in their home for short periods of time. What's happening is the owner has left the home, which she does frequently, and she has a dog door for the dogs to let themselves in and out. It's almost 8 o'clock on a Friday night, February 17th, if I'm not mistaken, 2023. This barking has been going on for hours. It's actually been worse, but it's a consistent thing that happens on a rather frequent basis, as the owner of the home is not in right now. Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I was wondering if I might be able to, I don't know how to, I understand you are good with your dogs, but they bark a lot when you're not here.
What am I supposed to do? I mean, I'm very rarely gone.
Well, on the weekends, they do bark quite a bit, and in the evenings, it is problematic. This does happen quite a bit. I'm just trying to be respectful because I do understand that you are good. Well, you do have an inside for the dogs to be inside.
Okay. I mean, I'm very rarely gone.
I appreciate what you do. I've seen it, but in fairness, I should explain. I work at nights, and then on the weekends, on Sundays, it's especially hard. So I'm not trying to come at you a particular way.
I fully understand, and I'm completely aware that she barks, and I try to, as much as I can, to bring her in.
I do.
I don't ever let her out barking. She barks, I bring her in.
I recognize that.
And I know
yes.
you know I do that.
I do. Yes,
so,
I do.
I mean, I was babysitting my niece today. I'm very rarely gone. I work from home as well, so my dog, and when I'm not home, I can't leave her locked up in the house while I'm gone. I was just gone for 8 hours.
Well, that's the thing. So for 8 hours, your dog barks outside.
And I'm Mika, stop.
This is my point.
I understand. I don't know. What do you want me to do?
Perhaps you can take the dog with you. Look, I'm trying to have solutions here. I've come to you respectfully. I'm not trying to lodge
Really?
any sort of
Because you
formal
attacked me
complaint.
as soon as I drove up.
No, I
So,
didn't attack you. I said,
but
"Excuse me,
you
ma'am."
sat there waiting for me to
Of course,
come home.
I'm not going to come to the side of your car. That would be aggressive. I waited for you to come out, and I approached it in a respectful manner.
Okay, I'm sorry. I very rarely leave.
Well, I'm sorry too that it had to come to this, but it is a conversation that I would like to at least address, so you are aware this is how I feel. I am your
and
neighbor.
like I said, I am fully aware, and I try as much as I possibly can to keep her inside from barking.
When you are here, I do absolutely recognize that, and I appreciate that. I do. But in your absence, the dogs bark a lot.
The dog, not the dogs.
I've heard two dogs. Do
Well,
you only
yeah,
have?
but I mean, he very rarely barks.
That's true, but I've heard them
well,
both
I mean,
go.
they're dogs, so yeah, they're going to bark. And we live on a busy.
I would agree to that part too, but it doesn't change the fact that they do bark a lot.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I guess I never can leave my house.
Well, that's your option.
Well, no, it's not an option. So, but that's what you want me to do.
No, I've not said any way or shape or form. I'm not here to govern your actions. I'm asking you to just consider that there are other people.
And believe me, and I fully am aware of that. I try as much as I possibly can.
Right.
There are circumstances where I cannot bring my dog with me.
Okay.
I mean, that's not feasible. I mean, that's ridiculous to even suggest.
It's not ridiculous because it's ridiculous to suggest that I pay my mortgage and that I should. Right. So we as humans have a precedence over pets. This is why they're pet laws.
I don't know what you want me to do.
I would like for what I said it from the beginning.
You want me to do?
I would like for you to control your dog's barking.
And I am as much as I possibly can.
If you can't, I will take it to another source.
You absolutely know I try to keep
I
keep
do,
my dog
but in
under
your
control.
absence for 8 hours.
And I already said I very rarely leave the house.
But when you do,
I babysat my niece today.
When you do, ma'am, you've left for a week. I've seen you each over the course of the weekends. You're leaving because the dogs bark.
Absolutely not. I do not leave over the weekend at all. That's complete ridiculous.
Of course,
I've never left over a weekend.
Not an entire weekend. I'm saying on the weekends you leave for hours at a time.
I mean, I work from home and I go and do things on the weekend.
That's fine. And this is when your dogs bark.
But I don't leave for 8 hours normally for a long period of time.
That's fine.
Today was an exception.
That's fine. That's fine. But
so
your dogs bark excessively in your absence.
Okay.
I understand people are sensitive about their dogs, but if my child were screaming in front of your house all day, you would want me to do something about it, and I would. It's what I owe my neighbors.
I do with my dog.
Right, but if I was gone then, and my child was screaming in front of your house,
you're implying that I do nothing with my dog. But
no, I'm saying in the absence of your presence, the dogs do this. And perhaps they're guarding the house. I understand all of what dogs do, but it does not change the fact it does affect my sleep, and it affects the enjoyment that I have living in my home. Yes, she does.
She sleeps in my room at night. No, she does not bark at night.
I explained earlier. Well, it's night right now. It's 8 o'clock right now. It's nighttime right now, and your dog's still barking.
We're normally in bed in my room at 7:30 every night, so my dog is not barking at night at all.
I explained earlier, I work nights, so when your dog barks, I am trying to sleep.
My dog never barks at night.
I'm working at night, ma'am, so I couldn't be here to hear the dog bark is what I'm saying. So while I'm trying to sleep during the day, your dog barks.
And I work from home, so when my dog barks, she comes up to my room while I'm working. My dog does not bark during the day.
I'll just start recording, and then I will just take it to a source. If you're not willing to hear what your neighbors are saying,
that isn't what I'm saying at all.
You are. You're trying to. You've already accused me of attacking you.
Well, I got in my car and you come right up to me right away.
I was 20 feet away. I was 20 feet away, and I approached you from a distance, respectfully.
But you were waiting for me to come home.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Why would I wait for your neighbors to come home to talk about your dogs?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you attacked me as soon as
No,
I
didn't
home.
Attack you. I approached you and I addressed you over a topic. You're not going to weaponize words towards me. This is not what's going to happen.
But this is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous that your dogs bark like this.
And I apologize. Completely
And I've accepted your apology. The tone doesn't have to go up.
So what more do you want me to do?
You've
Okay.
asked me, and I've stated,
All right.
and I've stated it.
I went to
Ma'am,
my
your
niece.
tone can
Yes,
come
because
down.
I'm getting irritated.
Your tone can come down.
No, I'm
yes,
getting
your tone
irritated.
can. You won't talk to me this way.
Well,
The next
okay,
time I will
you
show up
go
with
and-
authorities, and I will report you to the HOA. Those dogs are over 35 pounds. You will not talk to me this way. I've addressed you correctly and
what is it that-
politely with respect.
But I've
You will
already-
do the same, or this conversation is over, and I will take it to sources you can't yell at. How do you want to handle this?
I already asked and I already said I control my dog as much as I possibly can when I'm home.
When you're home, and I've asked you
I
just
went-
to control them when they're not.
And
When you're not home.
how is it that you want me to do that?
If you either can't take them with you, allow them to stay in the house.
And you don't think she's gonna bark inside the house?
Your dog barking inside the house is way more muted sound-wise than it is right next to my door outside. We can tape measure it. Your dog is about 20 feet from my Arcadia door. These are very close quarters. You know this.
All right.
I appreciate your time. So that's how that played out. And unfortunately, she didn't take it well. But what we're not going to do is allow words to be weaponized as far as using words like attack. And it's a standard tactic for people to try to do. But what she is very well aware of is that there are barking dog laws, and she knows that her dogs are over 35 pounds. I don't like going that route with people, but if you are unwilling to be, what's the word, accountable for your animals, then you have to be forced to be accountable for your animals. That's just what it is. Or your comes about. So yeah, that's that. Guys, what are your thoughts? Did I handle that right? Was I out of line? I tried to keep my levels level. I certainly didn't hit the crescendo like she did when she said that she's getting frustrated or something along those lines. But I wish I would have videotaped this, because I was a good 20 feet from her car when she got out of it, and I specifically waited because I'm aware of what situational awareness is about, and it would have completely caught her off guard. What she's upset about is she was just caught coming into her house, not necessarily that I was standing at her parking space. But it had to be said. So what's your ace up the sleeve? What's your advice, comment, experience with barking dogs? Do you think that I would or should, I should say, take this to authorities if the dogs continue to bark like this? Do I turn her into the HOA for having large dogs? I personally think it's all contingent on how she handles this moving forward. But I don't also want to see somebody separated from their animals. I'm guessing she's maybe in her late 50s, early 60s, mid 60s. I don't know, but she's there by herself. I don't want to see somebody lose their companions, but I also can't lose my peace. It's taken me a long time to get to something like this where I have something that I can call mine in the form of a home for myself and my, and just being able to sit and have your door open shouldn't be just part of a nightmare of a barking dog because there's somebody not there. She was correct that she doesn't leave for entire weekends at a time, and maybe I misspoke, but what I was saying is she leaves for extended periods of time during the day on the weekends. And again, on something like a Sunday, that's really where I have to sleep in order to get ready for work because I do work nights, and those dogs do bark during the day, in the evenings, afternoons, late afternoons, evenings. Just a moment, because she's not always there. Okay, my kid was playing music, and I didn't want YouTube to flag me for some sort of copyright violation over something that I was not even listening to. But I regret that it made her feel that particular sort of way, but I don't regret actually saying something to her. I have sat on this. If you have seen the video Dogma, which is probably a couple months old now, this has been going on for some amount of time. So it was beyond time to have it addressed. And therefore, we are where we need to be. Hopefully, she will take the proper measures um, in order to find herself accountable for her dog. So I spoke to the dog lady, and she didn't take it very well. So she, first of all, she said I attacked her.
What do you mean?
Be,
You just left?
she pulled up outside, and I waited for her to pull into her space, and I stood at the tree right here,
Mm-hmm.
and I waited by the tree for her to get out. And you know where her parking space is? It's what, the second or third parking space in.
Mm-hmm.
So once she got upset, she said, "Well, you attacked me." And I said, "I didn't attack you." So she was trying to, what she was trying to do is she was trying to deflect what I was saying because she got upset because I was telling her that her dogs were barking. She said, "Well, I never leave on the weekends." I said, "Well, your dogs bark a lot." And I said, "They bark when you're gone." And to her, she admitted she was gone for 8 hours today. I said, "Well, your dogs have been barking for hours right now." And then the dogs started barking again. I said, "This is what I'm talking about." I said, "So the example I used, I said, if my dog were outside screaming in front of your house all day, you would want me to do something about it." She said, "Well, but I'm gone." I said, "Okay, so if I were gone and my child were screaming all day in front of your house, you'd want me to do something about it." But she didn't like any of that. She said, "What should I do?" I said, "Maybe you could take your dog with you." And she said that was ridiculous. I said, "Okay, well, why don't," I said, "is it possible you can just leave your dogs inside all day?" And she's like, "Well, won't they bark inside?" I said, "But it's going to be a lot less noisy." So she took it very personally. She's very upset that her dogs are not perfect in anybody else's eyes. You know what I mean? Um, so we will play it by ear. But I did thank her, and I told her I appreciate when she's here that she does keep her dogs from barking. But I said it's when you're gone, and I explained about the sleeping, um, that I have to sleep during the day and work at night. So a lot of it was just it was hard feelings. And then she got very upset and said, "I'm very frustrated right now." And she tried to yell, and I told her, I said, "You're not going to yell." I said, "So what we're going to do is," I said, "the next time we have this conversation," I said, "we can have this conversation with the authorities."
What are the authorities?
Like the Glendale, the city of Glendale, who will make you do something about your barking dogs. And I said, "And I can turn you into the HOA for your dogs being over 35 pounds." And she got really quiet. And
What do you mean she got quiet?
because she knew I was right. She knew I was right, and she knew she's wrong for having those big dogs. That's the other part. That's why she got a little quiet, and then she got really frustrated. So,
Is she still in her house?
yeah, she's at her house right now. So we
Wait,
we talked about it.
wait, she got all crazy?
She did get a little crazy for just like a moment, and I told her, I said, "I need you to bring your levels down." And she said, "Well, you're attacking me." I said, "You're going to bring your levels down." I said, "You will not talk to me that way. Plain and simple. You will not talk to me that way."
Did she bring her levels down?
Yes. So there's also a side lesson in this, which is really try to keep as much of your composure, because when somebody else loses theirs and then you lose your composure with them, then nobody has any focus. There's no clarity. So she got very emotional, and I have no emotion in this. I was just speaking to her logically. Your dogs bark a lot.
They're over 35 pounds, and you guys could have this talk again with the HOA or the authorities.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you can call the authorities?
Absolutely. There, that stuff we were just reading on barking dogs. There's a place where you can file a complaint, or you can call a number, and it will get investigated. So there's a lot to it. But I don't want to have to go that route, which is why I thought I might be able to speak to her. But it's unfortunate. So we'll just see what happens moving forward. But I don't know. Should I have waited and contacted the authorities, or do you think it was a good idea to talk to her?
It was a good idea to talk to her, like just you and her. That way you could see if she would do something about it, but it sounds like she's not. So if you really feel like you need to, or you have a feeling in your gut that says, okay, this lady is not going to do anything about her dogs, call the authorities.
Yeah, and I did explain to her. I said, well, I pay my mortgage here. She said, I pay my rent. And I said, exactly. I said, your dogs don't. I said, we as humans have a right to enjoy what we have over dogs.
Did you tell her about disturbing the peace?
I don't think I used the exact words disturbing the peace, but I'm sure she's aware of what that means. But she just kept saying, well, what do you want me to do about it? And I said, well, and the first time I suggested she could take her dog with her, she said, I can't do that. That's ludicrous. I said, well, which means ridiculous. I said, well, I'm just trying to bring solutions. I said, it's not.
Wait, isn't Ludacris a rapper?
That is a rapper, but it's the actual word ludicrous. He got that from that. His actual name is Chris. I think Chris Bridges or something like that. So Luda Chris. So it sounds like the word ludicrous, but ridiculous. She basically said it was ridiculous, and
I don't get how that's ridiculous.
I guess depending on where she's going to go. But she said she was babysitting her niece today. I said, so you couldn't take your dog with you and I didn't say that, but I'm thinking you could have taken your dog with you.
I know, and did she say how old her niece was?
No, but if she's babysitting, I'm sure the child would enjoy seeing, the
dogs, and I'm pretty sure the dogs wouldn't hurt a little child.
Right. So she just needs,
unless one of the dogs is very aggressive.
Well, as much as they bark, I don't know if that's the case or not. And again, I don't want her to have to, lose her dogs. And then she said, well, now you're trying to tell me what to do. I said, I'm not here to govern your actions. I said, I'm trying to help you have like some sort of thought process or solution, or where we can get to a point where this isn't a problem. But she just kept taking it more and more personal, because she just thought it was ridiculous that she would take her dogs with her. I said, or you can just leave your dogs in the house. I said, I get it, but if you own dogs, that's the problem. You have to be willing to walk them. You have to be willing to wash them. You have to be willing to feed them, pick poop up after them. That's dog ownership. It's not just having a dog just to do whatever it wants. You have to keep in mind you have people around you. And I told her, she said, there's always traffic. I said, I understand. I said, but these are very close quarters. I said, if we measure from where your dogs can bark right next to the fence to my door right here, our door, the Cicadia door, it's probably less than 20 feet. That noise is easily carried, and it's in a small space. So once it's under, the porch, it's louder because it's not going anywhere. I said, it's just not fair. It's not a fair deal to have other people around you and they have to endure your dog barking. So that's the part with dog ownership. You have to be willing to understand that not everybody, it's like kids. Not everybody's going to love you like I love you. You know what I mean? Because not everybody feels the same way about children. Same thing with dogs. So if you guys are out there screaming and playing, somebody's going to be like, those kids are being way too loud, because they don't really, care for kids that much, or maybe it is being a little loud, but it's
Or-
not being 8 hours loud.
Or if there was just someone who came into the neighborhood and then just started playing loud music, like booming music.
Well, it could be orchestra music. If somebody doesn't like it, they just don't like it. So,
or after 8 hours of listening to it, it could get a tiny bit boring.
Well, she said, and that was the interesting part, because she got stuck on the part where she's like, my dogs don't bark at night. They're in bed with me at 7:30. I said, ma'am, I'm not saying, I said, your dog's is right now, I said, it's 8 o'clock. So your dog is barking at night. She's like, well, normally we're in bed. I said, okay, I'll give you that. I said, but you're missing the point. I said, what I'm saying is I work at night, and it's more about me not being able to sleep during the day in the evenings when your dogs are barking. Well, they're inside with me. I said, that's clearly not the case. I said, so what I'm going to have to do moving forward is just record every time your dogs bark, and then you will see. But that's the thing. When you're always about it, when your dogs are just always either barking, and like I said, I gave her credit. You do quiet your dogs when they are, they're barking and you're home. I said, what I'm asking you to do is address when you're not home, because they go right out the door and they start barking immediately. She said, it's not it's just one dog. I said, I've heard both of your dogs bark. She's like, well, the boy doesn't bark that much. I said, but it still barks. She was deflecting all over the place. She was trying to make it something else. She actually tried to back me off by saying that I attacked her.
What is that?
Means she was trying to change the subject, because what she was hoping to get to is, whoa, I didn't say I didn't attack you, and then just go away. Like she was trying to scare me with that word. And I said, I didn't.
Attack?
Yeah, because attack sounds aggressive. It means like, it was almost like she thought she could threaten me by saying, you attacked me, so I'll call the police or something. It's like, she didn't say that, but that's kind of what you're insinuating. That's kind of what you're leading as a clue to say, I'll do it. Yes.
What happened to your hand?
Where? Oh, cat scratch.
Yeah. Franklin?
No. So that's where we're at. But the one thing that you and Cameron can do is don't stand over there by that fence, because I know when you guys stand over there, you know that those dogs bark at you. So let's not make the situation worse. Let's not, try to add to it by making the dogs bark when they're outside. Okay. So let Cameron know as well, or just you stay away from it. Okay. So if she comes back to say, well, your kids are staying by my gate, I won't expect to hear that you are, because we will have had this talk now. You know what I mean? You are certainly well within your rights to play. If you're playing and those dogs are barking, that's different. But just standing there, letting the dogs bark at you guys, don't do that. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I feel bad for those dogs already. So
Plus, I feel like whenever they stop for a second and their bark gets a little bit high, I feel like that's straining their throat.
It might be. Like, I don't think a dog should bark that much. It's got to be exhausting. So if you guys are going to play in the field, you can play in the field. Like, all of this it's more yours to play in than it is for the dogs to bark in. Because, again, you're a human. And I told her, I said, this is why there are dog barking laws, because for that sort of stuff, that's the problem, is dogs bark.
Did you tell her about the law you looked up?
I didn't specifically say I looked anything up, but I did tell her I would, the next time, if this can't be addressed, I will just come, I will, next call that I make will be to the authorities and the HOA. So she can do it how she wants to, but she's not going to like if she gets fined for having large dogs, or if she gets fined for her dogs barking too much.
Or she might get her dogs taken away.
I don't know if they would take them away. I don't know how that would work.
I don't know. Sometimes the authorities can take things pretty far.
Yeah, they can.